Good morrow to you all. You have fallen on bad times.
Brought to you by the Royal Holloway Shakespeare Society.
You join me, Theo Dudridge.
And me, Subhan Hay, as we bear some bardy truths. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bar Times. This week we've got a lot more people from A Sly Taming to discuss A Sly Taming. Today we've got Jack Hardman, the fight choreographer. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Mula Chavez.
Hello.
And you played...
I'm playing Tranio.
You played Tranio. And Nikki, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. You played Right Brain in Gremio.
Yes, I did.
Yes, and Max,
who played Petruchio and Chris Sly.
So I've got a few questions for you guys. It's like a post-mortem discussion about the show. First of all, after the show's ended, is there anything you guys are planning to do soon? Maybe next term? Maybe you want to be in a production, or maybe you just want to give more time to your degree? What are you planning?
I think for me personally, Sly Taming, I've absolutely adored doing it.
Oh, thank you.
More on that later. I might take a little break.
Oh shit!
From performing
for
a short while, so as not overload myself. Although I could be persuaded otherwise.
You could. Well, you heard it here, folks. Nikki, any plans?
I'm thinking of auditioning, depending on what shows get through, and myself and a few friends are also planning on a little bid for Shakespeare.
Ooh.
Can't say much, but put that out there.
Okay, awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that. And Mullah?
I'm taking a break for now. Like, I have to focus on my essays. So
yeah.
Probably next term, yeah, probably I'll focus more on acting.
Next term, yeah?
Yes, I think it was fun.
Alrighty. What about you, Jack?
Well, I wasn't meant to get into anything this term.
Pulling you back in.
He dragged you in.
Man, Supane, a man with many hooks, all of which are in me. And so yeah, no, I'm on a bid for A Society, which hopefully will go through. Yeah, I'm looking to dramaturg next term, so that's going to be something that I've not done before, and I'm looking forward to it.
How are you feeling about dramaturgy?
Well, I mean, I think there's a certain level of dramaturgy inside directing anyway, and directing is something I'm quite comfortable with, and I've had a lot of I'm very lucky in the fact that I've had a lot of experience with that. But in terms of just understanding story and basically looking at how to weld a concept to a Shakespeare play, sounds like fun. It's just a learning experience.
What takeaways have we had from working on A Sly Taming? Any, Max, have you got anything?
For me, personally, Sly Taming has been a massive return to confidence for me. Over the course of being in rehearsals, being told to stop saying sorry every 2 seconds.
You do need to stop saying sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry about that.
Watch your elbows.
To watch my elbows, and it just, at the end of it, I do feel like I've, as a performer and as a person, especially after lockdown, I've just generally become more confident. And
amazing.
Much more sure of myself.
That's really good to hear, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you mean, because when I joined Players last year, I had the exact same problem where people were like, stop saying sorry. And I'd be like, sorry, oh shit. Nikki, what have you taken away from The Sly Taming?
Well, I think I said to you when we first started this that my two biggest fears when it came to performing, because I've been performing for basically my whole life, was comedy and Shakespeare. And this is a Shakespeare comedy. So I think I've grown a lot from it. I never think that my comedic timing is great, or that I really get how to perform Shakespeare. But I've really enjoyed this experience, and I feel like I'm maybe a little bit more confident in those two fields now. I
mean, I loved, I'm sure everyone else did, I loved seeing you as Right Brain. It was just it was amazing.
It was so hard for me. There's one of the shows, I think it was the last show, you high-fived me.
Yes, I did.
I tried so hard not to laugh.
Because your hand was just out, and I was like, it's the perfect
It was so Right Brain. It was so good.
Amazing. What about you, Chavez?
I don't know, it's the same as, I think the first time we met, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And every time he was giving me clues, he's like, say this in this way or that way. I'm like, I have no idea what you mean, how do I say this? And he would say me how to say it. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fun. But then eventually as time went, as auditions went, it just went great. I've done small bits in the past, not great like this many. Like I've done a little singing, a little acting, but it's fine. But not in a great level. It's just basic. So, but then when I did this, it just felt like I was stepping up on a different level. And then when I saw you guys acting, all of you, was like, I need to do something great. And I felt so inferior. I ended up screaming half my lines.
You did not scream, you projected.
Projection.
Projection.
I used my tummy.
Your voice is still intact, therefore you did a good job.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
projected well enough.
Is that a dig?
No,
felt
no,
like
that was not a thing at anyone at all. I'm not here to insult you, Jack. I promise. No, that comes later.
Look, but I
Not
think
towards
you
Jack.
said
That's
you're,
after the podcast.
you said you're taking a break, but are you gonna like come back into the performing arts? Are you planning to at all, or?
I mean, if it's with you guys, I'm familiar with you, so maybe I'll join back if something's there. But then I saw like one of the greatest actings I've seen was Lynn.
Yeah.
Like you could clearly see her switch from Lynn to Katharina, and like I got so good at one point. She was talking to Max, and you could hear her use a Katharina voice. Me and Vicky, we just noticed her. We're like, she's using the Katharina voice. Sorry.
I can attest for that so much. There's so many times where you hear Kate come through and Lynn. It's terrifying.
I mean, I think at a certain point when you're playing a part like that, where there is such a distinct physical and vocal choice there with Katharina, like between Lynn and Katharina, that when you're, I mean, all the parts we play are ultimately aspects of ourselves that we're putting forwards. Like, even Max, despite the fact you're a lovely, lovely man, like there has got to be part of you that you're accessing in order to
It was
perform.
very much. I mean, me and like Lynn before a lot of the performances, we said activate the god complex. Push the ego to the max and just use that. That's what drove our characters. I'd say.
And so, like, when you're just having a conversation with someone, for instance, Lynn, like, and then if she got slightly annoyed, it's like, it's kind of that little flash of a fragment of the character of Katharina comes in, and it is just kind of like, okay, and now it's my time to step back.
Moving on to what you've taken away, first of all, I have to say a big thank you for like stepping in.
Absolutely no problem.
Seriously, you've made the show what it is.
Stop that.
No, seriously. You helped with the fight choreography. You came in. It was thank you so much.
No, what? Oh, my pleasure. The cast were an absolute beaut to work with. Like, there was just not you three, everyone else.
Okay, alright, get out of my face, Jack.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. It's just wonderful. I think generally, attitude-wise, it is one of the best casts I've worked with in terms of everyone had such a massive amount of positive energy, and I think that is also down to your influence largely. Supon, for anyone who isn't in the room while I'm pointing. I think that is largely down to your influence because you bring this wonderful, positive, warm energy into a rehearsal room. And it's definitely something that the thing that I took away from this show as a director was to try and emulate that and to try and basically angle myself when I'm directing a little further towards that, because in the past I've definitely been a lot more I don't want to say cold, but let's say overly professional about kind of stuff. But I know during this production I made a deliberate effort to try and angle more towards that, and that is largely because I saw how you worked and how well the cast reacted to that. So I've definitely learned from you a little bit about directing, which was really nice and just great. The whole project was really fun. I think in terms of learning stuff about acting from the actors, commitment and how important commitment is to the bit. You guys were talking about players. The whole thing with players is just committing to the bit, and if you properly give yourself to it, I say that I did some stuff in my first year. I've not done any of it since, so what the hell do I know? But I generally think commitment as part of the part, as an actor, committing to rehearsals, making sure you're there on time, making sure you're there with your full amount of energy, making sure you're there for the full, you are not just there physically, but also there mentally, is such a massive thing. And I think that has been a big takeaway of thing. I'll stop talking now.
No.
No, I believe I have some revenge to take on a certain few cast members
Oh no.
who slandered me
dear.
in the last podcast. Now, Lynn, Adonia, Lynn, Adonia, and I want to also say Kate. Those three.
Oh no. Kate wasn't even there, mate.
Oh gosh.
On performance night, those three had a lot of weight coming down on them, and you could see it. But those three absolutely freaking destroyed it. And they went they are so impressive to me. They are honest to God inspirations to me for this.
Yeah.
They're so impressive.
Look at that. No, I agree.
Like I can share this. What's it called? This is my fault. I was in charge of. I had all the props.
I didn't know this is going.
So I had all the props in a bag in the trunk of my car, and I bought everything in the bag. And then there was the one prop that I didn't have in the bag. I had in the back seat, which was a broom. So we realized we didn't have the broom 1.5 scenes before. So
I didn't know about this.
During
Yeah, we
the
never
live
let you know.
performance as it was happening.
So backstage, I just did my bit where I was like, the swear word, get to Max, and then I get out.
Which show was this?
I think it was the second one.
I think it's
Yeah,
the second one. Yeah, this is the one where my parents were.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's the second.
I think we ended up getting the broom to Kate as she was going on to do the scene.
No, I think you got it a good 30 seconds before.
Oh
you
yeah,
go on
sorry.
stage.
So after I'd done my bit, I came off stage and was like, right, where's the broom? I was like, oh, it should be here. And then I realised, shit, I didn't get it. So I ran to the SU car park, got in the car, drove it at a safe speed over to Medicine. And
balls were broken.
How did I not hear it?
I didn't park it at Medicine Wing.
You were in the audience, I think.
I was sitting
You
at
were
the
in the-
back. I was
yeah.
sitting at the back, but I did see a bunch of scampering around.
Yeah.
Did
around.
I perform
know.
Tiger? I can't. There were a lot of people I performed Tiger.
You did
Holograms
perform it
to.
to me. Yeah, I mean,
Wait,
in
what?
most rehearsals, you performed
Yeah.
it to me anyway.
Yeah, so it's
Which, what an enjoyable experience. If any of you get a chance to have Max squat down and to quote the song "Take a," in front of you, I recommend it. But there's
How are we going to say this without swearing?
having me dance near you is an experience, not in a good way.
think Spider on ice skates. That is. I was sitting next to Jade Venture and Aaron Barrow. Wonderful people in the audience on the first night, and Max fully just made direct eye contact, and I was like, oh.
I tried to do that as much as I could. Apparently, during some of my hip thrusts, I accidentally made eye contact with my friends, which I couldn't see them at that point.
The technicians did a wonderful job. We're very grateful for them. It is always
So grateful.
the SU staff in general are usually very good. The ones that worked with us on Love Labours, the show that, as every person who regularly listens to this knows, Theo and I don't stop talking about it. The show that we did in first year, the technicians then were great, and the technicians for us this time around were great. I think.
That being said, without all the preparation, the tech team did phenomenal.
Oh no, they
Yeah,
did great.
They did
They
amazing.
did great.
I could never tell on stage, but did you end up cutting the red and blue lights for the brain bit? Or?
We didn't cut it. We just added more white. To
Yeah,
it.
we phased it out because
Okay.
the first night we hadn't quite got the whole phasing lights in and out down quite as well, and so it was very much like, okay, we have a scene, and a blackout, and it was and the same thing with red light and blue light. But eventually we got hold of it. By the second day, we had a conversation with the tech team and kind of worked through that. But all of these things they're a work in progress. They're learning on the
Learning
job.
curve.
That's
Okay.
most certainly my big takeaway. Like, have a plan for the tech.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got to say, in terms of, sorry for cutting you off, but in terms of the lighting specifically, it was so, and this isn't to any discredit of the tech team, it was so blinding, a lot of it, that I genuinely couldn't, and that's just
That's
general
just
lighting.
stage
That's,
lighting.
yeah,
We're
that's
gonna have
just
the
stage
tech
lighting in
team
general.
with the next podcast.
This isn't, I like Nicky said, it's just stage lighting in general. There were times where I generally couldn't see the audience, and it felt a lot, while I was still making sure to project, it felt a lot more personal, and it felt like I could just be on stage and have
Yeah.
fun.
That's very
Absolutely.
interesting because
It's
like
quite nice to not have the pressure of like all
Yeah.
these people looking at you.
no, that's a big point because I've talked to my friend Azan about this. My favorite, like I've barely performed, but the performances that I have done on stage, like being players or aimed at, my favorite thing about performing is I can't see the audience.
Yes.
I just see a silhouette of someone and maybe like someone smiling. I'm like, that's enough. If I saw people,
Yeah.
I would have started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's the wonderful bit in Bo Burnham's Make Happy where he goes, okay, let's bring the house lights down.
Yeah.
Let's bring the house lights up. Let's take the stage lights
We're
down.
all the same
so
now.
I can actually see you.
Yeah.
And it is a big thing of like when you're on stage, and I use this when I act as a way to just like completely agreeing with what you said, like absolutely just being able to fold yourself into the world way easier if you cannot see anything, which particularly I think the way the stage was for Taming, the actual raised bit, put you directly in those lights.
Yeah.
So when you're on that stage you could see nothing.
Yeah, another thing which it definitely helped with is like it put you in like the atmosphere of the show. You know, you weren't like concerned about the audience, but it also one thing that you had quite a bit in the notes for our interval scene is to have fun.
Yeah.
And you could really just have fun.
Yeah, because you're not constantly checking and like assessing how funny you're being.
Yeah, the only time that you'd actually care about that is when you hear the audience laugh.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable, that scene. Like even us in the backstage, we were just having so much fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I think
think
the whole dance section.
My
with you and
my
Victoria was
favourite
wonderful.
memory of the dance section was during two of the performances, seeing Mizzy in the curtains enacting it out and going, good, you're doing right, well done.
Oh, that was one of my favourite rehearsals. I think was going through with you and Vicky and just being like, okay, guys, at the moment you look so unbelievably bored by what you're doing and you look terrified.
Yeah.
Let's try and take that out.
I remember that.
That was it was a lot of fun.
I mean, all that stuff about the lights being said, like I also love like not knowing the audience is there, but it's also important to like interact with the audience sometimes. And you did that brilliantly because right after the interval you come in and like I just found out today that you had this whole chewing gum thing and
Spraying myself in the face with the water gun, acting in Chris like a very drunk Chris like character. I'd wave at anyone that walked past with a very like exaggerated wave, which I did to Jack as many times as I could.
It was nice. Every time I came round the back to like sneak in. Okay, well I'll sit at the back and watch it from here. I just get a big old wave from Max in the interval. I'm trying to sneak, please. Yeah,
I'm very good at drawing attention to other people.
Everyone, look at him.
Hey, are you over there? Hey! Any bit with Chris Sly, although it wasn't necessarily the most socially okay, well, generally okay thing. No, I don't mean... You're looking at me as if I'm about to dig into Jack again.
Say you enjoyed playing Chris Sly.
Say it.
How
No slander.
how did you dig into me here?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm the one person who's safe.
They were giving me a look. So it's just Chris Sly's drunkenness. It was so just purely fun to do on stage.
I think it's a weird one though, playing a character like that.
Yeah.
Because just before the play before this that Shakespeare did, Measure for Measure, I played Angelo, which is a character not unlike Petruchio in that they're both steaming piles of human feces, and there is a almost sick enjoyment you get out of playing those like parts, even though they are obviously reprehensible people.
I think because they're so reprehensible, you can separate yourself from it quite easily.
I agree.
It's
playing the villain.
Yeah.
Like you're playing the villain, and it's fun.
Which is why the political speech was my favourite, because it was so that was the villain speech. It felt amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, hey guys, check out Measure for Measure. All of you, your performance. I was there in person, and I'm just so honoured that I was, because it was so good. But yeah, no, that's a good connection you made.
That filming for that was interesting. Filming for that in particular, that day you were there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of lines, and we filmed the whole thing in
I'm just holding my iPad.
we filmed the whole like 2-hour long thing in about 2 weeks, and with a combination of exams and stuff like that, it was very much like those of us with a lot of lines did have to cram. And there was this one scene where Suphan was there, where he literally had to stand through a window with a big, like, zoomed in version of the script, held it just above the camera so I could say my lines with any kind of conviction. It
was a good performance. I mean, everyone check it out. It was great.
I mean, the whole crew for that. Just everyone involved with Measure was wonderful.
You got anything you want to say about Taming, or?
Yeah, I would say like one of the greatest reason why it worked was the cast and crew. Like initially we were like figuring out how the cast works and everything, but then if you notice from week 1, there were like bits of us who were together, and then initially it became 2 groups, and then 1 group by the end of the weeks.
Yeah.
And I think it was Halloween night when we all actually mingled together.
Yeah.
Halloween night, that's when everyone actually got together, and then that's when everything became more intense. But before that, it was all a little slow, and people were like, a little shy, like me. I mean, like, from my perspective, like, I was shy, I was in my corner, chilling, having my scenes, I'm done, I leave. But then, afterwards, like, after we had our first fundraiser and everything, things just slowly paced up. You could see the performance become greater as people started mingling more. They started to analyze the person around them, like this is how the character will be, this is how they will interact. And that's when the crew also got in with us. That's when I noticed Mizzy and Jack, you, Ed, when all 4 of you came together.
No, I completely agree. I think Halloween was a really nice turning point where I certainly felt, because I had only been in for like 2 rehearsals at that point, I certainly felt that Halloween was very much a thing of, oh, now I actually have any idea who any of these people are. Because Taming was a very... I mean, I think it was legit only Kate who had done a show with Shakespeare before.
Yeah.
And that's including the crew.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
I mean, except we the director.
And shadow directed.
I shadow directed,
yeah. But I hadn't, and I certainly hadn't worked with, other than with you as Polo for Measure, any of the cast or crew, and so that was very much a thing of like, okay, I'm in a big room filled with no one that I know, and Halloween was definitely a bit of a bonding experience. I completely agree.
Yeah, beautiful.
I think as soon as that, in general, the cast, all of you guys were just so lovely. And I think there was just such a positive attitude in the room at all times. And I think that completely was why we could, in like 2 weeks, really ramp everything up, was because everyone had such a good attitude.
Yeah, it felt like it went from kind of a series of scenes, which we were all in, to an actual, performance that we all wanted to be in. We all wanted to be there, like, not just to get it done, but because, like, we'd all put so much work in, we all wanted to see each other just actually properly make something really good, really amazing, and I think we did.
That's the thing, like, initially we were just doing scenes for scenes, character for character, our own sake, and then later on, after Halloween night, we just wanted to see each other do their best. And I can say the best thing that I remember from our performance was, as soon as our scenes are done, you see them run backstage, and backstage it was like, yes, you did great, you did amazing. That energy was like beautiful.
Kate's groomia in the final one was so ungodly funny. It was way too funny for it to. I very nearly broke character on that bit. Like I managed to get through the other 2 performances with her booping my nose just fine, but that one just so nearly got me because it was too good.
I think it's almost a shame that it was only 3 shows. As with all of these uni productions that we do here, is the fact there's only like 3 performances, 4 performances, is a real shame, because you see that if any of you guys, I don't know whether any of you guys have, but been in shows that have had like 10 performances, 20 performances, like you really do see, as soon as the actors get a better idea of how the show is, and you just see that snowball in terms of the amount of energy, the just, like you're saying, like after a scene, because you've seen that scene now, an upteen number of times, you know when it's gone good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're there like, come on, yes.
It's kind of... I remember after the first night, I felt a little bit defeated because the final scene was a bit messy. And
That was largely a tech issue as well.
My thought wasn't, oh no, it went so bad. My thought was, we got 2 more performances, we're going to make it amazing. And I think by the last one it was. And I think because of the stress of the weekend, I was thinking, okay, we'll get these next 2 performances done, and then it'll be over. It'll be over. And afterwards, I was like, I want the next one now. I want the next performance.
Yeah.
I want to go again.
Yeah.
It
Let me
is
ride
the
the
way.
roller coaster one more time.
I think, yeah, another thing that I definitely took away from this whole experience, and this is also partly the way that you direct, and I really respect that, is an idea of you do not place blame on someone for a scene going wrong. What you do is you try and... I think generally looking at giving notes in general as a way to a suggestion to make the scene better rather than someone doing something wrong. And as soon as you as a director click into that, and I know certainly for those of us who have been in performing arts like schools and or like youth theatres or things like that, you get very used to, oh, okay, notes are things that I've done wrong. So then when you get into that position as a director, you then have that mentality, and that's not a great mentality to have. But I know certainly working with you, it made me figure, okay, I need to switch the way that I do notes. And I think that by the time that I gave out the notes for your guys' first run, I kind of realised that, and I made that change. And I think you guys responded. You definitely responded to it well. Whether it was phrased well, you guys definitely took my notes and ran with it, which I was really happy with.
I think everybody's notes throughout this entire thing have been very nice, because certainly been in productions in the past where notes are like this very, very harsh thing that have almost, if not definitely, made people cry. But everybody's notes were very nice and respectful, and it was just how we can improve and not, this is all your fault, change what you're doing.
I think I definitely had that problem of, like, whenever I was looking at the notes, I wasn't looking at, oh, this went well. I was looking for, what can I do better, what can I do better, what can I do better. But by the time of the performance, after most scenes, I'd message Mizzy, hey, do you have any notes? What can I do? Was it good? I was so, like...
I think there was a really, really interesting dress run that we did, where I distinctly remember after we did it, I think it was the first time you guys had ran it, and we sat you down, and it was the first time certainly I had seen the show, and I was like, right, I have quite a lot of notes for you guys, and I gave the kind of general stuff, and I was like, I have more specific stuff, but you know, if you guys don't want it. And I distinctly remember looking at Kira Joyce, and she looked me dead in the eyes and went, give us the notes. And it was a very very surreal experience seeing a cast that want notes. I think, and that's again a testament to your guys' incredible attitude through this whole process. The whole cast wanted to do the best performance that they possibly could. The whole cast cared, and it felt like everyone was in it together. There was no one half-arsing it, which was really great.
I can't remember who told me this, but it was during the rehearsal process. Someone said to me that I should make sure I'm enjoying every rehearsal. I should be going to rehearsal and having fun.
That sounds like a Kateism.
I think it's either Kate or you. It was one of the two that said it.
I don't think that's me. That doesn't sound... That's way too positive to be me.
I think Supan really had that mentality as well, though. He was like, if you're ever not having fun, please tell me and we will change what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the main reason that I could I could really look at it and go, it's fine. If I've done something wrong, it's fine, because I know I can do it better. Because I'm here to have fun and to enjoy what I'm doing. Because I really do enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm really glad you guys all had a very positive... Well, seemingly, at least the three of you guys had a
speak
positive...
for the entire cast.
A very positive experience on this. I'm sure, you agree with me here, Supan. We had a wonderful experience working with you guys. And we're very grateful for... you guys working as hard as you did and putting it, because that last week was hard. We put you guys through the ringer, and there was a reason for that, and that was we knew the show could be up here where it was by that final performance, and we just wanted to get you guys there. Like that was, but you guys did it. You fought for it, and you did it.
Let's talk about stuff that we may have watched recently. Any plays, any films, no spoilers.
I watched The French Dispatch with the lovely Samuel Stevens
Ooh,
last night at the BFI, and it was my god, what a film, what a picture. But it was just so good. I mean, Wes Anderson gets enough pat on the backs. He doesn't need one from me. But it's just such a fascinating way to look at non-linear storytelling. It's because the whole thing is it's a series of... It's kind of almost an audio-visual experience of reading through a magazine. Mm-hmm. And so the first bit is an obituary, then you have 3 stories, and then you have like a closing remark. And it's kind of like that each stories are completely unrelated to each other, but they all occur in the same town in France. And it's such an interesting way to look at a non-linear kind of way of doing that, but also it's an excellent exercise into framing devices, just as a lot of Wes Anderson's work is. Just like how, I don't know, have you guys seen the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good film.
I still need to.
But man, you gotta watch it.
I got things to watch.
But there's a really great thing in that where it is a story about a girl reading a book, and then you flip to the author that she's reading about, then you flip to a younger version of that author hearing the story that he's written about, then you flip to the younger version of the guy telling the story, and it's a framing device inside a framing device inside a framing device inside a framing device, and that sounds like nonsense, except somehow the kind of whimsy and just like, I don't even know, the charm of the way that they tell the story just is so great, and The French Dispatch just takes that to a whole new level. The charm of it is so great.
I mean, I know it has a big cast. Does it manage to bring them
It's
all in?
massive! Yeah. It's absolutely
and
huge.
All like,
it's like a star cast.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's got
Timothy Chalamet,
Saoirse
Ronan.
Yeah. Edward Norton. Although size-wise, there's solidly 200 people in this film. There are so many. Did
they manage to fit it all in, or is it like too many people coming up?
What the whole joke is, there's a whole section which I don't think is spoilers because you've seen this bit, where Guillermo del Toro, he plays this murderous artist who is in jail, and he there's this whole scene where basically there's a bunch of convicts, but there's so many that they basically fill this entire room, and they're like stacked on top of each other, and it's just wonderful. It's just great.
Yeah. Jack just did his Jack gesture. Yeah, that sounds so wrong.
Just
Jack gesture.
it's just a little
Very
bit. It's just a.
Amazing. Has anyone else watched anything recently? Any plays or something?
I watched the film 1917 with my housemate a couple days ago. Has anyone seen it?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Yes. I don't know why it's taken me this long to watch it, because it was amazing. I know that obviously like this 2.5 hour film wasn't all shot in completely one shot, but it's filmed like it looks like it has been. So the camera never leaves people that you're with. So it feels kind of like you're with them the entire time, like you're going on this journey with them, which I thought it's a very, very interesting way of doing it, because I think especially in like war movies and kind of action movies, they use a lot of quick camera cuts to keep your attention and your focus. But it was just such a great film that it didn't even need that.
I just love how the checkpoints were a British actor. It's like, all right, we've got Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
Hey
Checkpoint.
mate, if Andrew Scott can be in every film,
Oh, absolutely, yes.
I love that.
Even if it was only for 2 minutes.
Oh.
Nice. Have you seen anything recently?
I've watched a recent show that came out on Netflix called Arcane.
I watched the first episode of that literally just before coming here.
It's absolutely incredible.
I love it. It's so good.
I won't say anything then because
I've only watched the
Give us a
one
review.
episode.
Give us like a.
It's a review of the first episode.
To give you a quick summary, it's basically it's a tale of two sisters. That's all I can say without spoiling too much. It's also
based on the video game League of Legends.
Yeah, it's also got a lot of kind of political stuff in there with the two different sides of cities, blah 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 blah. And it has some of the most beautiful animation.
So good.
Studio Fortiche absolutely just knocks it out of the park.
Is it an animated show?
Yeah, they use a mix of 3D and 2D animation in it, and it's so incredible. It's because they have such a massive budget.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
because League of Legends is massive.
What's it? So I can't go in. It's annoying me because I really want to go into just how
I'm
good.
so glad you didn't just pile drive into this.
Yeah,
because it is so good though, and also the voice acting is
incredible, wonderful. And it gets so much better.
I can't wait.
I
can't. Come join me on this journey.
By episode 3. By episode 3, you get such.
For episode 3,
they aren't animated characters on a screen. That you see, because at this point in the story they are children. You see these children. You see emotions like a child would have, absolutely pure and raw, and it's some of the most amazing storytelling. It could. There's some bits of it could do something, but it's really incredible. It's really incredible storytelling. And I couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah, I think there's this one scene in the first episode. This is where they're talking about the drawbacks of one of these characters, the younger girl in it.
Powder.
Powder. Yeah, and they're kind of they're talking about it, which would be an extremely expositional scene that would have been way better to show not tell. But the way that they drop just a ton of exposition is really clever.
Yeah, I think one of my favourite scenes from the first episode is there is a fight scene.
Oh, it's so good! It caught me completely off guard.
They have little bits of slow motion within the fight scene.
I love how passionate you two are about it.
There's some... I'm really big on animation.
Every film, give it to me.
When I was doing my essays last night, I stopped to take a break to go on YouTube and go frame by frame on some trailers to look at the animation because it is that good.
I think I've fallen in love.
No. You heard it here, folks.
So there's a fight scene in which they use slow motion and they frame a shot so amazingly to show because they, as Jack said,
you've got the same tone when you speak to Kate, the character. It's so amazing. Very good.
As Jack said, they drop a lot of exposition about Powder's weaknesses, but they then show it so brilliantly through a single shot of all of the other characters fighting, and then in the negative space in the middle of the shot is Powder clutching a bag, and it looks so beautiful. Like I said,
to someone who's not seen this sounds like I've got to check this out.
You just got to check it out.
Yeah.
And luckily it's
done bag
Arcane. Okay. It's done in such a way.
If you go on Netflix, it'll literally be the first thing recommended to you.
Yeah, it's done in such a way that you do not need to have any other context. You can just get in and enjoy the show. So I could not recommend it more.
Yeah. If you like that, by the way, check out the Castlevania series.
I've been meaning to. I've seen some of the animation for that.
My dude, it is so good. This is just Max and I now.
This is a bromance for me.
We'll start a separate podcast just gushing over animation for hours.
Please. We're at 50 minutes. Has anyone else watched?
I was about to ask Sufan.
I watched a play called 10 Nights yesterday at the Bush Theatre. I dragged my sister and my little brother. This is the first play that my sister's ever seen.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Man.
This is the second play my little brother's seen. Wow. The first being Anna X that we went and watched together. And it was so good. It was good representation for Muslims. It's I think it was cheaper for them to do than our play.
Seriously?
Yeah, because we were as close as I am to you, Jack, right now, and I hope people listening can get an idea how close
About a foot.
About a foot. That's how close I was to the stage. and I wasn't even sitting at the front. I was sitting at like close to the back, so like we were cramped.
Man.
And it's called 10 nights because in Islam, in Ramadan, the last 10 nights, basically in the Quran it says that one day in the last 10 nights of Ramadan is like the most blessed day. If you pray on that day, it's called Laylatul Qadr, you get like the most blessings, your year will be blessed, but you don't know which day it is. So for the whole 10 days, what Muslims do is they just go to the mosque and they just stay there for the whole 10 days.
They just pray
every single day. So they catch that.
For sure.
Yeah, for whenever it was. And it was a story about a kid who's, I think the character was like my age, and he's just not sure about religion, he's not sure about it. But his dad like pushes him to try this, and like by the end of it he becomes like, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's amazing because it's literally just one person playing different characters, and then you've got like a hand sign language interpreter. So it's literally you've got two people on stage, and this guy's telling the whole story, and it's just brilliant. And like, I'm pretty sure it was cheaper than Taming, but it was just so powerful. Yeah,
amazing.
Oh, it's been great having you guys here. Thank you so much for giving your time. I hope you all are well.
Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting us.
Thank you very
I
much.
had a lot of fun.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Bard Times, and in the words of the Bard, pleasure and action make the hours seem short.